Burnt Shadows is a novel that covers about 60 years and 5 countries. And it starts with the bombing of Nagasaki, it ends with the war on terror and a man on his way to Guantanamo. One of the things that started me thinking of the novel was just after India tested its bomb, just before Pakistan did this, some atom bomb survivors came from Nagasaki and Hiroshima to Pakistan to say, please don't do this because we've lived through it. And there was very little discussion of what actually happens in nuclear war. If you go and ask people in Pakistan and India, what do nuclear weapons do? It's a big bomb, but it is very worrying that both India and Pakistan have nuclear weapons. These are countries that have been to war several times. Writing about Nagasaki was a big challenge because all my earlier novels had been set in Karachi, writing about a world I knew, a world I'd grown up in. And suddenly I had to find out how to write about a place that I didn't know, and which I couldn't even visit because I can't go to Nagasaki before the bomb fell. It was very frightening actually to write it because I kept thinking, I have no idea how to do this. But it terrified me so much that it was exciting. And I thought, if I can find out how to do it, then I'll be a better writer. And so for the Nagasaki section of the book, I researched everything I could. But it's the little things you want to find out about as a writer. So the most important things to me were what was the weather like, what kind of plants were growing, what was the vegetation. On the day the bomb fell, what was the temperature. So those kind of details. And then one day I just started to be able to see it. And when you can see it, you can write it. On 9/11, everyone's saying, well, it came suddenly from nowhere. It was tragic, it was an awful, awful day, but it wasn't a historical moment. There's a very complicated history of how hatred grew from one part of the world to another. I think the war against terror is very inefficient. It's helping create a lot of terrorists. What you needed was, very targeted, high-level intelligence activity to go into places because Al-Qaeda was not a big organization. It's become a huge organization in the last 10 years. And if I look at Pakistan, the term suicide bombing did not exist. I think the first one was in 2004. And in 2010, there was a suicide bombing on average once every 3 days in the country.